Well, here we are again, another edition of the Orchid and Kato Show. Review, wrestling. Usually we stick to WWE. We're going to get a little off topic later on. Brand new week, brand new shirt, Ric Flair.
My Happy Rusev Day shirt.
You got it.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, if you're getting a shirt, I'm getting a shirt. We both got new shirts. They were on sale. I think I paid $25 for the shipping and everything with these shirts. That's a pretty good deal. So let's jump right into it. 20 minutes last week. We keep talking about not going to make this 20 minutes. We made it another 20 minutes. But let's jump into it. Right off the bat, we're going to start with bad Monday Night Raw. Do you agree that Raw was bad this week?
Yes, I agree Raw was bad this week. They're showing the same matches each week, and I think that's what's killing it. Like, I understand a storyline and building that, but every week it feels like the same thing, and like they're not building a storyline.
So how do you think it can be fixed?
I don't like better storytelling, I guess. But I mean, I'm tired of seeing Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley face the Revival. It's the third week in a row we've seen it, and I know that they've done a storyline with it, but it's not building fast enough, or it's not building well enough for me to enjoy it.
I agree. I don't like it. I don't like the Bobby and Roman Reigns. I'm still hopeful that the match itself at Extreme Rules is going to be good, but I don't like it. I will say it's sort of building the Revival. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a little interested in the Revival now because they're doing something finally with them, and I think they're a good tag team. And like, if you see any of their NXT stuff, like, it's really brilliant. Their tag team, like, they're a genuine tag team, so I really like them. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's done nothing to build not just that match. Like, there's not a match that I'm overly excited about at all from Monday Night Raw that's going on the next pay-per-view. Like, not at all. I think that like this. The other thing that I had hoped for, and then it wasn't great, was the Bayley and Sasha Banks segment with, what's the guy's name?
Dr. Shelby.
Dr. Shelby coming back, and it was two little segments, right? Was there more than that?
Yeah, no, it was two little segments, and it wasn't really that funny.
No, it wasn't, and historically, like, the stuff they did with Team Hell No and Dr. Shelby was brilliant, so it was really disappointing. I don't know what the answer is. I know that it's difficult. I would imagine it's very difficult to write really good television 52 weeks a year, continuously year after year. But I can tell you from my point of view, the last 2 to 3 weeks of Monday Night Raw have been just awful. Like, not just bad, like, just almost unwatchable. And, you know, I've been watching wrestling for 40 years and loved wrestling for 40 years. I mean, to me, it's been practically unwatchable. So I broke the first real rule that we've broken here. I left my phone turned up, so we'll stick that on the ground and hopefully we won't hear it anymore. I thought it was bad, so we'll move on to the next one. I also thought SmackDown was bad.
I disagree with that. I thought SmackDown was fairly good.
Okay, what did you like about it?
I really enjoyed the Team Hell No stuff and stuff that we're going to talk about later. I actually enjoyed the Kevin Owens stuff.
That was from Raw. The Kevin Owens stuff was from Raw.
Oh, was it from Raw? Yeah,
okay, so we'll get into that in a little bit, but man, I thought SmackDown as a whole, across the board, was not that great. I agree. The Team Hell No stuff that we're going to talk about a little later on was good. It was the best thing on television as far as wrestling, as far as WWE goes, all week. So, like, I agree with that part of it. I thought it was fun and developed well. I'm afraid, because I tend not to trust WWE to tell the correct story, that it's not going to play out well. And like, this is one that they could keep going for 4 to 5 months and probably keep me interested.
I think they'll only keep it going until SummerSlam.
You think then? And then what happens?
And then Kane will leave again. I don't think Kane's going to stick around very long. I think he's just around until SummerSlam.
Probably. If history has told us in the last year what Kane does, he won't be around real long. But it's interesting. It's good stuff.
It is.
But for me personally, I thought, was there anything outside of Team Hell No that you enjoyed about SmackDown?
I did not enjoy the match with Elmsworth and Asuka, yeah. I did not enjoy that match. I guess you're right. I can't really think of anything else from SmackDown that really is sticking out to me.
It's memorable, and that's a problem. If something's not memorable. Yeah. I guess to a degree, then that sort of brings us to our next thing, is the Braun and Kevin Owens thing. I didn't like it. You liked it. I guess from my standpoint, from your standpoint, it's at least memorable. So people can focus on it being memorable. But tell me first why you liked it.
I thought it was funny, and I really thought the crowd got into it. At some point, they were chanting Porter Johnny, and I thought that was hilarious. I think the crowd really enjoyed it. I don't know. I think that people just find poop funny, and it's always going to be funny.
Okay. I mean, sure, poop is funny, but I didn't like the segment for these following reasons. I don't understand how it helps Braun Strowman in any way. Like, I think I like the idea of there being comedic elements to his character, but this particular segment and angle feels like he's just bullying Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And so at a certain point, if Kevin Owens keeps getting bullied week after week, sympathy's going to turn, and Kevin Owens is going to be getting cheered more and more.
Yeah.
And he's a brilliant heel. Like, I'm not in love with him as a guy on WWE. I think he's a great indie guy, but that's another subject for another day. Obviously, somebody else up there disagrees with me. So, I just think if you keep getting a guy bullied and picked on, people are going to start sympathizing with him and get with him, and then ultimately have no heels.
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody is getting treated this way, I mean, heels are what drive the business to me, and maybe it's a very old school mentality, but the best heels drive the business. And right now, who are our best heels? I mean, The Miz. I mean, he's a great heel. Half the crowd loves him.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me about our great heels in the business right now. It is difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, The Miz is a pretty good heel, but he does more jobs than just about anybody on television right now. Yeah. I mean, he loses all the time. So how is that a great heel?
Right.
Is Roman Reigns our biggest heel?
I guess. But back to the segment with Braun Strowman, I think that they don't really have anything for Braun Strowman at this point, because they don't want to shove him in there with Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley, because right now, I mean, really what you need to do with Braun Strowman is put him towards the title. But, I mean, you want to put a third guy in there trying to get at Brock Lesnar when you've already got Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns going after the title?
No. But
so, I mean, there's nothing really else for him to do at this point right now, because...
And I think a feud with Kevin Owens is fine. I don't have a problem with that particular idea of a feud. I just don't like how it's played out. I just don't think that him, sometimes even, like, I know it's before your time, but Hulk Hogan was this giant monster of a man, nearly as big as Braun Strowman, but he still got on the ground and sold for guys. He wasn't just dump trucking everybody the way Braun Strowman is.
Yeah.
And I know it's a different time and a different era, but like at a certain point, like you had the Roman Reigns syndrome where he was sort of running through everybody. The crowd turned on him, and I worry that maybe the same thing's going to happen to Braun Strowman. And I like Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Braun Strowman. He's a throwback to a different time for me. So I just don't know. So let's go on to our next one, our fourth one. We're moving a little quicker. I don't think we're going to make it to 20 minutes this week. Team Hell No. We did talk a little bit about it. You said last week you didn't think they were going to win the tag titles, right? Or you did? I
do think they're going to win.
I
hope that they win.
Do you think, though? Hoping and thinking are two different things.
I think that they will win.
Okay. So, I hope that they win. I think there's a better story to tell if they win the tag titles. I don't think they'll win, though. I think that, like, the Bludgeon Brothers are just guys that are there all the time, and I don't know. I've not trusted WWE outside of WrestleMania 30 at the last possible minute to do the right thing by Daniel Bryan, and I still feel like at the end of the day, for whatever reason, like they're not going to do the right thing by Daniel Bryan, and maybe that's part of the deal. Like they'll have him not win until WrestleMania next year, and then have him win.
But he's won like every match that he's come back to, like the matches that mean something, the matches at pay-per-views. He's won. He's beat Big Cass 3 times now at every single pay-per-view.
It seemed like those matches mattered, but then they fired him, so they didn't really give a crap about Big Cass. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I hope you're right. I really do.
I think, though, that a good story could be told if they don't win the tag matches. They could do what they did before, where they kind of break up and they have like a fight about like being a team, kind of like in 5 years ago.
Yeah, maybe. Do you want to retell that same story again, though?
I mean, it worked before.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've seen that once. I'd rather just see them win the tag titles, or I mean, I guess they got to lose them at some point.
Yeah.
And then they break up and do something. You're probably right. That's probably what they will do. Last subject for today. I know you're a WWE person. Like, you like WWE. You don't particularly care about Impact TNA, correct? At all? Like, do you watch anything online about them at all?
No.
Ring of Honor, do you have any interest in that? Do you watch that at all?
Just from when you put it on.
Whenever I put it on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not must-see television for
Right.
you. NXT, not that big of a deal to you either, correct?
Right. I'll watch the pay-per-views, but that's about it. The NXT takeovers, but that's about it.
So the next one that I'm going to talk about is New Japan. New Japan has a big show on live television this Saturday night. I'm definitely going to watch it. Main event is Cody Rhodes versus Kenny Omega. Does this hold any interest for you at all?
When Cody Rhodes was in WWE, I loved Cody Rhodes. Like, the dashing Cody Rhodes, like, that was
Yeah, you were
amazing.
way ahead of the curve on Cody Rhodes.
I love that stuff. Like, I loved when he put the mask on and he was the hideous and he was handing out the paper bags. Like, I thought that was genius.
Right.
I really like Cody Rhodes. I'm not... When you put on New Japan, I don't really care for it. Just because of how violent it is. Like, people getting dropped on their heads. Like, I'm not about that. I don't really care for that, and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for the violent matches. Like, that's just not my thing.
So if you have a preference between promos and angles or matches, what do you prefer?
If it's a good match, I really enjoy watching wrestling.
Yeah. So you like good matches. That's your favorite thing. I think jumping back a little bit to Raw and Smackdown, there's not really been that really great, like, standout match the last few weeks. I think the really great match that we've had in the last, with the pay-per-view, it was Seth Rollins against Elias. I thought that was a really great piece of storytelling.
I don't know. I think each week Seth Rollins and Ziggles have had good matches. They've put on great matches. It's just, it sucks. We keep seeing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. I don't know. I still would like to see a really great match every week.
Yeah.
On one show. I just need one really great match per show, and I don't think we're getting that right now. And I don't know, what they need to do to fix that, because they have guys that can do that, but they're not right now. So. Okay, so anyway, back to the New Japan thing. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. I think, it took me a long, long, long time to come around to Kenny Omega. Like, I was way behind the curve on everybody else. Like, everybody else was on board with Kenny Omega 3 years ago. I like Kenny Omega. I still don't think, like, as far as pure wrestler, like everybody says he's the best right now. I still think Seth Rollins, who's not my favorite wrestler, but is probably the best wrestler in the world right now. But I like Kenny Omega. I like a lot of the guys that if I started naming them, you'd be like, who are those guys? So maybe next week when we come back, you can sit and watch this with me Saturday night and sort of give me what you think. I know you don't like the drop on their heads, but if you can get away from the drop on the head, the pure storytelling of the way they do things is really fun. I mean, the thing I most like about New Japan, most of their guys are really good. And I'm not saying their guys are the best at it, but the difference between them and what we see on WWE is they're given 20, 30 minutes to tell their story, as opposed to WWE guys who are forced to rush and push their story through in 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell a story. So there it is, the week in wrestling from Orchid and Kato. I think that it was a rough week for wrestling. Yeah. It was not a good week. Hopefully next week it'll be much better. We can have something a little more exciting to talk about. Hopefully. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I don't think so.
Nope. All right. This was fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it too. Hopefully next week will be a lot better, because WWE will do a lot better television. Thank you guys.